BC has an agreement with Washington State that we won't open our dams up, all of our hydroelectric dams wide, because the Columbia River will absolutely decimate all of Washington State, like agriculture and probably part of Seattle, but billions and billions and billions of dollars of damage if we let the river run free. And
so what you're saying we won't open our dams as long as
well, that's the important part, the as long as, right?
As long as they continue being nice to us.
Yeah. And over 50 years ago, we signed an agreement to that effect.
Yeah.
Where they said, we will pay you to not open your dams up. We'll pay you, and there'll be a way for you to build these dams. You can.
I'm pretty sure Nestle would just suck it all up downstream.
Yeah. And
I think it would all go to chocolate bars or bottled water.
So during the Obama administration, that agreement came due, and the Ministry of Mining, which is natural resources in BC, was like, "Hey, we have to re-ratify this agreement." And Washington's like, "Sure, yeah, just send it over, we'll sign it." And they're like, "No, we have to we are asking to renegotiate this agreement." They're like, "What do you mean? Like, it's fine, isn't it?" It's like, we are not letting this water run free out of goodwill, but we have to pay to maintain these dams. If we didn't have to pay to maintain these dams,
it would be a shame.
It would be terrible if that happened.
Yeah,
but like sometimes stuff happens.
Yes.
To dams,
and
it would be a real shame.
Washington State was like, "Why would you do that?" And it's like, well, why would we continue to maintain our dams in this way? Like, it's like you're asking us to do an awful lot of work and watch after this. And it's like, you might think it's your water, but it's not your water. It landed on our land first, right? It landed in our sovereign territory, right? So we have to be the ones the stewards of that. So we'd like to talk about a more equitable partnership. Not that we're trying to screw you out of money, but we'd like you to actually take some responsibility for the fact that this is a thing. Because if you don't, if we can't maintain these dams anymore for whatever reason, you have no infrastructure to stop this water when it hits the border. And maybe you need to start thinking about doing something about that too. And so so Washington State didn't like that very much. That there's like, we're gonna have to pay you money to not send us water. It's like, well, that's kind of the idea. And so anyway, the federal governments of both countries had to get involved with this whole thing as well, apparently. And I have no idea what happened, but I'm pretty sure they signed this new agreement, because if they didn't, the sunset
I feel like we would have heard something about us unleashing a flood upon Seattle.
Yeah, the sunset clause was within 10 years. Like, if they didn't re-ratify the agreement, or at least come up with a new agreement, within 10 years, like basically the agreement dissolves. Like, there's kind of a Brexit situation, right? Where it's like, you've already said you're leaving, so you're leaving. And it's the same thing. It's like, this agreement's null and void, so it's null and void. If you want to start negotiating a brand new agreement from scratch, we can do that, but you have 10 years to do something about this, because if you don't, this opens back up. So, like, we can just let the water go whenever we want. We don't have to give a crap about you guys.
It's like, we're going to let the water go.
Sorry,
what happens to it after it gets to the border is not our problem.
I said Seattle, I meant Spokane. Because others, yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. Different side of the mountains and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. Anyway, I don't know how it got settled, and actually I should go have a look, so.
Wait. We should probably check.
Good story.
We should probably check, make sure we didn't wipe Spokane off the map accidentally.
Let's find out. Columbia River Agreement, water management. All right, the treaty, Columbia River Treaty.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Can you replace the word like river or water with some other word? Like sandwiches?
Columbia Sandwich Treaty. Or is it gazebo? No, sandwiches. I like sandwiches. Oh, actually, no, let's go even harder on this, like guacamole.
Guacamole.
Okay. In 1964, Canada, United States, U.S., ratified the Columbia Guacamole Treaty, A transboundary water management agreement. The impetus for the treaty was the disastrous flood of 1948, which devastated the city of Vanport in Oregon and cost many lives, along with growing power demand in the Pacific Northwest. In exchange for providing flood control and offering an equal share of the incremental U.S. downstream power benefits, Canada agreed to build 3 dams, Duncan Hugh L. Keenley side, and Micah in British Columbia, and allowed the U.S. to build a 4th dam, the Libby Dam, that flooded into Canada. The Canadian facilities vastly reduced flood risk in BC and the U.S. The treaty also enabled the construction of the hydroelectric process in BC. So anyway, moving on. I don't think we ever get to see the word river again in this whole thing. So, right. The agreement in 1963 means that the U.S. prepaid Canada $64 million for 60 years of assured flood control operations.
$64 million.
Yeah, for 60 years. I mean, a lot at that time, but, less now. The treaty dams and reservoirs inundated 110,000 hectares of Canadian ecosystems, displaced more than 2,000 residents, as well as First Nations, communities, and infrastructure, and impacted farms, tourism, and forest activities. So...
Yeah, there's an interesting aspect because hydroelectric is considered to be a renewable resource.
Yeah.
Yep.
But boy, did we wipe out a lot of First Nations communities to set those dams up.
Yeah, my dad actually, when he was just out of university, was on a archaeological dig that was basically, you have like 2 months to dig in here before we flood it with this dam.
Right.
See if you can find anything interesting.
The treaty has no end date, but either country can unilaterally terminate the treaty from, I got the date wrong, September 2024. Onwards, provided that at least 10 years notice is given. The ability to terminate the treaty and the changing flood control provisions will occur post-2024, whether the treaty is terminated or not, have prompted both countries to undertake a review of the treaty to determine its future. This is on BC government's website, and I'm like, that is the most politic way of putting it. So yeah, in 2 years' time, we're going to find out whether or not someone's going to say, hey, we're just going to terminate this. And by 2034, you're going to be underwater.
Wow.
Be a shame if any other resource required a lot of land.
How about that? Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't realize the river map was so big. Thank you. Camthelian uploaded the Columbia River map with all the tributaries off of it, and it rolls all the way down to Nevada, Utah, Wyoming. Wow.
Turns out
it covers all of Idaho.
Natural resources don't necessarily follow neat borders.
Yeah. Oh God. Cyber Demon says underwater by 2034, only 16 years ahead of schedule.
Yay.
Yeah.